Hello. All right, let's just give it a minute and see who comes on.
Oh my god, my phone is so not stable.
Welcome to Hard Truths with Ann and Claudine. I'll start getting all of my stuff checked out while we got people see people come in. All right. Today we want to talk a little bit about the male energy. We want to give that male energy some attention today. Um, so we'll just kind of see if anyone signs in. Let me go ahead and check these areas where I need to check real quick to make sure we're live. And it does say we're live. So I'm going to Hard Truths with Annie. Um, so we'll just kind of see if anyone signs in. Let me go ahead and not signs in, but checks in. Sorry, you guys. Okay. So we got that going, and then I have another. I gotta check YouTube now, you guys. So hi, you guys. Welcome in. Come on
Hello.
in. Yeah.
Come in, ask questions, say things. I like when people talk because I can
Today
like.
we're gonna today we want to talk about the male energy, you guys.
Mhm. Do you think we might have upset males if we talk about male energy?
No. I
I
think
hope not.
the males that do watch us all the time, they're very pleased with what we're saying.
Okay, that's
They're a
good.
high vibrational. The only kind of people I do believe that will be drawn to this are going to be people who are, high vibrational, but they're a little confused with everything. You know what I mean? Like,
hmm hmm People who can understand what we're talking about, I guess.
yeah, there's a
Because I
certain
forget.
level of awareness who's going to be
Yeah,
attracted to us. Yeah.
I forget sometimes, Claudine, because I just speak like whatever comes to my mind. But sometimes I sit back and I go, "Oh, maybe people aren't understanding me. Like maybe I'm the problem, where people aren't understanding like why I am and speak and say things the way I do." Like so.
I know. You should go live though on your page though, I think.
Like I get excited about really random things. Like yesterday, someone posted about a waterfall on my page, and like all week I have been dying to go to the waterfalls. And yesterday, like the weekend, we had Australia Day, and just every part of me. I went to the beach, swam in the ocean, and it still wasn't enough. I had to go to the waterfalls, and
Oh,
then
you're so lucky to have waterfalls so close to
I
you.
know it's so good. It's just different to ocean water. So I did an ocean swim, and then the next day I did the waterfalls. I feel so much more refreshed. There's something about waterfall water, like that fresh stream, like because we've had heaps of rain, so the water was just flying. I think it was like drinkable type water, but there's something about a waterfall, like fresh water, like ocean water. You feel nice and clean and dried out, but waterfall, there's like a cleansing that you just feel. Like I even have to go sit on the toilet afterwards and
Oh,
just my body
wow.
just flushes. Yeah, it just does something. I can't explain it, but it's so good. I felt even
It
like in your
cleans you.
sinuses, it really does. It goes into your ears, into your eye, and it just you can I can feel it just like woof, cleans me out. But yeah, so I was very lucky. And then I saw someone post about a waterfall and how they went to one. I got real excited. Like I get really excited about those kinds of things.
Because you're grateful for being able to have access to water like that. I mean, I don't have anything really close to me like that. I told you I went to Payson to go get that really nice clean water to take a shower, and it was spring water, and it felt beautiful. It was amazing, even though it wasn't under a waterfall, but it was in a shower, a nice shower, and oh, I felt
But still,
so purified and so clean, and my aura, and I was on cloud nine for like the whole week for like 7 or 8 days. It was great.
so good. You can see why I like soaking in Epsom salts and all that kind of stuff if you can, like why it is so good for you. But the hard part that I find is we never really do our head and soak our head, and I feel like that is still part of our body that we need to soak. I think that's why I like the waterfalls and So I just will go dunk my head and just soak it in the water. And it just goes into your ears and, you know, gets those harder parts. But I can see why doing that kind of stuff is good for your body. Really like draws out the toxins and I guess your
It
skin is
does.
like one big organ, so it just absorbs, you know. When you take a shower in the showers, you can tell it's just crap water. It's no good. You can feel all those chemicals kind of just sitting on you. Like,
But
ugh.
some people, that's all we have. And,
I
you know, we
know,
have to use the power of the mind of transmuting that water and washing us down. You know what I mean?
for
And
sure.
then, yep. And then taking the
It's still better than being
intentions.
dirty.
Huh?
It's still better than being dirty.
Yes. Yes, it is. And I do believe that we are powerful enough that we can transmute that water that's coming out of that head of that shower. You can always buy mineral, rocks and mineral, water
Mm-hmm.
filters where the water
Mm.
comes out, you know,
Filters.
yep,
Yeah.
you can buy those. I know those
Yeah.
are as cheap as $20 online, and
Yeah.
they do work. They
Yeah.
pick up a lot of the calcium and the fluoride out of our water here in Arizona.
Mm.
um there's a lot of things that people can do to, you know, to clean up their water in their house at a very low cost if they want to,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
It's
um
worth it. It's definitely
it
worth
is.
cleaning it up to drink. That
It
is for sure.
is. Well, I wouldn't drink it. I would never
No.
advise anyone in the state of Arizona to drink any faucet water unless you're drinking from a well, unless you have your off grid and you're drinking from a well. The, mm. Our water is very tainted here in America, Anne.
Same. We're the same. We have like you can drink the water here. I used to, but I wouldn't dare drink it now. But some people still do. You can wash your toothbrush under it. I don't do any of that stuff now, but you know, you can drink it and know that you're not going to get um, poisoned or anything. But it has a lot of chemicals in it, and ugh, I wouldn't drink it. I know people come into my restaurant and they'll be like, we give them the water from the fridge and be like, is this filtered water? And they'll be like, no. And they'll be like, I'll put it to the side. So you do get people over here that are like, have that reaction to our water, but yeah, some still drink it. I know a couple people that still drink it, but I would
That's
say,
me. I won't.
you know,
Yeah, I usually bring my own water into the restaurants.
same. Yeah. Do you know that it's actually not good to drink water straight after you eat? Um, I don't know, it does something to your stomach. So when you eat, you're supposed to let it rest for the first 20 minutes and then
Hmm.
drink. Because it like something about the way it absorbs into your body and digest it's not doesn't help. Like you can have maybe an orange or a really pure thing of orange juice because that's like fruit helps food digest. So you can have that, but you shouldn't drink like a cup of like you see a lot of people like after they eat and they'll just like down a big thing of water and just whoa. But you're not supposed to do that apparently. You're supposed to let your food rest for the first 20 minutes after you finish eating and then drink a little bit of water, not too much, like a glass, and then
They say you're supposed to drink it before you eat your dinner.
yes, well that's another way. That's to help fill you up so you don't eat as much.
Yep, it works.
It does, for sure, because water really like, you know, it does really fill you up. Like you can flood your body from drinking too much water. So
Exactly.
that is a fact. So that's
Yep.
interesting. Mm.
Okay, well, we've let about 10 minutes go by, you guys. And again, I want to welcome everyone to Hard Truths. This is a live stream where we're not trying to like scare you guys or put you guys in fear mode or anything like that because there's plenty of programs that already do that for you. But we're trying to give you insights about truths and about things that are going on in our system right now, you know, with good energies, bad energies, shadow governments. We talk about pretty much everything, AI and where we're going with that. And again, when we talk about energies, we talk about bad and good. We do talk about demons, angels, religion, a lot of different stuff we talk about. And we only do it not to put you guys in fear, but for you to empower you and to strengthen you.
Mm-hmm.
and hopefully to activate and get you to think other things, in other ways, because the American mind, and I speak on Americans because I'm from America and is from Australia. They're pretty hijacked. The American minds are very hijacked by our deep state. And when I talk about the deep state, I'm talking about our government. And our government, they're all, to me, in my books, are all criminals. They're all working the same system. They all have it. There's a lot of information we have regarding how this works, you guys, because there's people telling them what to do and what their agenda is, and there's a lot of layers. And then Ann and I like to talk about how we stay healthy physically, mentally, spiritually during this, what I like to call the dark war, the black war. Um, So, um, with that being said, I am Claudine with Elevated by Claudine, and I am one of your hosts on this show, this live. And what I do is I own a facility and a healing facility here in Glendale, Arizona, where I transfer people off of pharmaceuticals and street drugs, alcohol, and addiction onto plant-based medicine. I'm a dosing specialist, and if you go to my website, all my information is there on how to contact me and where I'm located. Again, I said I'm in Glendale, Arizona. So that's just a little bit about me. And I'm going to go ahead and let Anne, who's an energy reader from Australia, tell you a little bit about herself. And then from there, we're going to start talking about what our live is about. And again, today we wanted to start off and talk about men and their energy, because I think we have some important stuff to share with the men out there from our perspective. So go ahead, Anne.
I'm Anne. I'm a lot of things. I'm a mom.
Mhm.
I work at the restaurant, and I'm a psychic. So I'm I read energy. I see auras. I see shadows. I see inside in someone. I get dreams. Yeah, I'm really psychic. I don't know why or how, but I can just hear a lot when people speak for some reason. And yeah, people are big energy bubbles. So some people come with a lot behind them, some people come with less. But we all have our hologram that sits around us, and we all have it. So I can see into them sometimes, and I can help people. I work with Claudine if anyone wants to get energy readings. But I always say to people about my stuff, my readings, my psychic, if you don't want truth, you shouldn't come to me because I will never, like, I don't see just random stuff. I kind of see like the deeper stuff, the inner workings that if we fix up, it's better for the long run throughout your entire life type of thing. So, but yeah, um, I see energy quite deeply. But if you ever want an energy reading, you come this way. I like to help people that get it and continue. You get some people and you do all the psychic stuff and you help, but then they kind of just stop. I like it when they keep going and you see someone like constantly bettering themselves.
Well, yeah,
It's
that's
very good.
that's who we are. We're very serious about what we do. I'm extremely serious about what I do. And again, you guys, I just want to put out there, to reach us and to book an appointment, you just go to elevatedbyclaudine.com and you go to services, and you'll see Anne, and you'll see all my services that I have there with consultations and what kind of readings that she has. I don't know if you've got one or two on there. You might have one or two. I don't remember. Um, but yes, so that's how you contact us. And so yeah, how about those men out there? How you guys feeling out there? Oh,
Are they
let
any
me
watching? Is anyone watching?
yeah, we got one person watching. But
And
yeah, reading energy, that's what we do, and it's very important. And with that being said, I've had one month. I don't remember if it was if it was October. No, I think it was November. I had 33 men straight come in to my facility. And I just found that really odd. Do you know what I mean? I was like, okay, and then and even men, even women who I thought were gonna come in, their husband showed up in the place of them to pick up their orders. And I was just like, oh, this is really neat. This is crazy, but it was cool. But anyways, counseling all these men, a lot of them had kind of the same question for me. And in one of the questions is, how come I get so pissed off when someone tells me what to do?
Would that just be ego?
Well,
Would it
so all these are men.
conditioning
Yeah, these are
ego?
all different levels of men who are only so aware at certain point. You know what I mean? It's what I like to say. You know, you've heard me say this term before, and it's what I say: men who think with their penis.
Yes, exactly. I think that's a really big, like, not a problem because they're a male, but I think that is a big issue in the matter. I do agree with that. Like, I look at men and I just sometimes think, poor you. Like, you have to be this person and you got to carry around all that ego just simply because you got given a penis in this lifetime. And you
Mm-hmm.
just, maybe deep down you're just this really soft, sensitive, and you don't want to be all tough and, but but the world tells you that you have to because you got a willy sitting on you. You need to go out there and you got to be tough. You got to bag those chicks and you got to be super cool and and it's just, yeah, I feel I have sympathy for that, for men like that, for a
I
lot
do
of men
too. I do too. I
because
think,
of it.
yeah, the brainwashing on the men has been so different than it has for us,
Hmm.
They've
It's
just
different.
mm-hmm,
Society has done it differently. Like,
mm-hmm.
women get the whole, oh, you're psychotic, you're crazy, you're this, you're that, that kind of stuff. You need to go to mental hospital. Like, they get more of that kind of stuff. Oh, you're a slut, you're a whore. Whereas men, it's more just, be a man, go out there, be a man. So it's two different things that society has created to put onto that ego for male and female. That's how I feel. Like, there's so much
Yes.
conditioning and just everything, all of it. I look at all of it, even like sex. I look at it and just think, wow, they've really sourced the energy from that because they know that
Oh my
sex
gosh,
is an
yeah. They
energy
put
that it's a chakra that so they're really sourcing it, and I see how that the world has created these ways to source it and how to make people, you got to do this, you got to do that, and you see it for what it is. But
right.
you know what I mean. But yeah, you see
I do.
men. Yeah, men, there's a conditioning that they've got and been given, that they have since birth because they have a penis. And then women, you know they get that because that's what we've created to put onto women. And then so on and so on. But yeah, I feel bad. I think it must get very tiresome. You know, women, we get really worn out because we're just constantly persecuted for, like, for trying to take care of ourselves. Or when you become a mother, you're supposed to apparently, like, give up your whole self and make every single person happy in your family. And if they're not happy with what you're doing, well, you better do it better for it. And that's just, I don't agree with all that, but that's what moms get. And then men, it's like, you're a male, you need to protect, you need to do, and yeah, sure, they need to do all those things, but they don't need to have this whole, like, I'm so tough because I'm a man and nothing's going to hurt me because I'm a man. Like, you're still a human being where things are going to affect you, and you know everything is going to affect you. And if you can't show it and you can't um let yourself be vulnerable, like, that would make you a super edgy person in life, that's for sure.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
you
I
know what
think,
I mean?
yeah. I think the men have been brainwashed on a whole different level to make them believe that everything that they were innately born with, everything they, that they know deep down inside is right, has just been stripped from them, for them, not to be able to tap into all of that innateness, that their abilities that they came to this planet with.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
For
you
sure.
know, yeah. And the reason why I told every one of these men, when they told me that, they get so angry when somebody tells them, that they can't do this or what to do and all this stuff. And it's kind of like men are set up to have to look up to the next level of man. You know what I mean? Like, it's a
Mm-hmm.
level up,
Mm-hmm. For sure.
for them. You know what I mean? Even, from school to even workplace for a lot of men. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean?
Yeah,
You know,
definitely. All of it, Claudine. Simply because
mm-hmm,
they're a man, they'll get
mm-hmm.
treated. They'll probably get brought up from their dad with that whole, well, my dad did it to me, like, was like this, and you got to be a man, and you got, and
You got
it's
to be
just this.
tough. Yeah.
Yeah, and it just trickles down and trickles down. But the problem with our society now, that I feel, is that they have created this particular matrix. So back before, like in the Middle Ages, whatever, like that's why you have all that ancestral trauma and stuff, because you would just be a parent to how you were parented, and it was just ancestral and ancestral.
Right. Right. Yeah.
You have that, in the dark ages that you dealt with. But I find the problem with nowadays is we have all our ancestral stuff and that natural stuff that comes with our DNA, and how families, it passes on. But then on top of it, we have this whole other element of, like, what the matrix has created: psychology and psychiatry, and this, and doctors of the mind, and labels and stuff. And now we have all this other input of, no, but this is what society, this is what that textbook tells you. If you're not like this, you have this wrong with you. And if you're not doing this, and society has a say in who you're supposed to be as that sex. And that's where I find it gets really, really confusing, because you get some people who, like, they might have spent their whole life having issues, having to go to psychiatrists or going to psychologists, and that psychologist teaches them one particular way, and that's their reality. And then you have this person over here, and they went through their trauma, and then they went to see this person, and then that's their reality. But because they think, well, I want to learn from a professional, they then have, no, I'm right, no, I'm right, no, but my psychologist, no, I'm right, because they've been indoctrinated by that person. So I find it makes things, I get very confused with all of it, because so many people, like for me, I'll say personally for my life, so many people have tried to come in my life and tell me, oh no, but this is how it's supposed to be, and you didn't learn the right way, and you need to go learn it like this. And I've had so many people come at me with this opinion and that opinion. I've gone to see psychologists, and the psychologists all say the same thing: you're fine, we can't help you anymore, like I've gone to see psychiatrists. No, but then out in the real world, I've got this ex telling, this, my husband, my ex, my mom, and just all these people telling me what they've learned, and that's the way. And that's why I think you got to know who you are and what you believe and what you, like, have dealt with in your life, because that's the problem. You have so many labels and things that society has created to your sex, to you as a person, to, for a man. And then on top of it, you have all the spiritual side and the ancestral side and all that, you can't escape that. The ancestral stuff is super strong. And I see it. And I think no psychologist, that's where they will not be able to help you, because some ancestral stuff is really, really, really strong. And sometimes you really actually have to deal with that as it is. But society doesn't tell. Society tells you, if you go down that track, you're crazy. So this is where you got to know who you are as a person. And if you don't know who you are, you're going to be pretty angry, because there's a lot coming at you to have to fit some mold. So that is my opinion, and that's my take on what I see as I've gotten older and become a mom, and as a woman, and just Yeah, just the amount of different realities that have come at me from different people telling me that's the right way. No, that's the right way. And it got real confusing. So I think when you're confused, you're going to be angrier because look at it. It's like you're under trigger control. Like when you're confused and you're angry and you're constantly in this state of mind of like, what's right, what's wrong, what's right, why am I angry, what? And then someone comes at you and says something, you're going to project anger onto them because you're confused. You're going to trigger much easier because, it's like, shit, what the and they might not even be saying anything. They might just be wanting to help you but you're under this like, what's right, what's wrong. So you're going to trigger faster and you're going to think, I need to protect myself. They're saying something. And you could be getting it all wrong because you're just triggering because you're confused. So,
Yes. Yeah, it's not fun to be confused. It's
no.
not, and that's what I saw with all of these clients that came in. They were lost. They were more lost and they're a little confused. And of course they're confused because like I said in the American men, they're raised to to step up to a certain standard, depending on what field that family's into, because every family, they have different types of careers,
Mm-hmm.
like my boys, and I do speak upon the male energy quite well. I do know it very well. I am a mother of four boys, and I have two grandsons, so I am responsible for six males walking on this planet, and I'm very proud of that. And being a mother and a grandmother of six men that I am responsible for being on this planet, what I see with them right now and what stages that they're at, and they're all different ages, my boys are. My oldest, I believe, is 38. I believe, isn't that horrible? Gosh,
That's
I can't even keep track of my own children's age, you guys. But, anyways, everyone's getting ready to turn another age. I got my son, Nathan James, who just turned 36 on the 23rd. I have a niece who's getting ready to turn, I think, 28. Oh my gosh, time just flies. But anyways, my oldest is 38, my youngest is 24. So I have a variety there of ages with men right now. And what I'm seeing is because of these standards that their careers put them put the standards they put on them, and then you have the culture of the business that they're in, and the culture isn't always healthy, because especially if you work for a corporation, and a few of my children do work for big corporations. Wow. I mean, the standards and the law and the rules they put on them are, they're creepy, they're wrong. And I'm watching my boys resist these companies that they're working for, and they're like, "Whoa, wait a minute! No, that is not right." And they're starting to defend themselves. I have one son who defended himself quite nicely last week, and yeah, and he was one of the men who asked me, "Why do I get so angry when someone tells me what to do?" And again, here I had like 33 men asking me basically the same question in 1 month, and so the reason why I want to say that when someone tells you what to do or how to do something, or you can't do something, and if you're one of those people that has fire and is like, "Oh no, you don't, you don't get to do that to me," and especially, and it's very hard when it comes from authority, because you don't want to disrespect, you don't want to lose your job, da 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 da. Well, the reason why that is because innately you were born to not have to have any man tell you what to do, ever. Ever.
Mm-hmm.
You were born a natural sovereign being who knows pretty much right from wrong. You know what feels good, you know what feels bad. You are a naturally human being who wants to be integrity with your word. That's all natural feelings that we have. And it's innately, but it's been stripped from them. I mean, basically to the bone is what I like to say. And meanwhile, they've been disrespected, and then there's pressure on them about what I like to sum it all up is sex, drugs, and rock and roll for them. It's what it's all about. You better know all that, or. you're not a man. And then, then the name brand clothes and the cars they're supposed to drive and where they should be at this point of their life and they should be making this much money. And it's really sad because, what happened? Why can't they, they just need to be a simple man.
Mm-hmm.
The more simple you are, the more you're going to know thyself. And that's the most
Yep.
important when it comes to men is when they know thyself, they no longer think with their penis. They
Mm-hmm.
don't.
No,
And
it
I
changes.
know a few men. I know a few men out there. I don't know a whole lot, but I have worked with many, many men who do not do that. And they are wonderful men. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put a shout out to my Yogi Josh. He's one of them. I got David, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, are they perfect? No, they're not perfect, but they, it's kind of like because they have these high standards for themselves. Their standards are so high for themselves, you know what I mean? That
Mm-hmm.
they won't just
But I
go,
think they just don't think with that part, that ego part, which is your bits. Like when you
That's
think
exactly what it
that,
is. They've been taught to be
when
an
you,
ego all the time. Always be an
mm,
ego. That's your manhood. That's where you get,
yeah, that's what I
And if
mean.
someone says something you don't like, cuss them out, punch them in the face. Like I said, again, it depends on what industry you come from. If you come from an industry that has no integrity at the top, that's not going to have integrity all down to the door greeter. That's just the way it is. It starts from the top. So, and there's a lot of industries out here that I know that do not work integrity. They do not take accountability. We see it all over the place, you guys, with all these corporations just with their waste alone.
Mm,
So,
yeah.
yeah. And then we've got men that here's another thing, with men is no one really talks about their testosterone, especially when they've been in rehab or they're going in rehab or coming out of rehab or they're in recovery right now, wherever they are on their level of shedding what I like to call their shit, having their egos deaths.
Mm-hmm.
They don't talk about their testosterone. I've had 25-year-old men come in here and they can't have a heart on. They can't do it.
That's a
They're
problem.
25 years old. They should be walking hard-ons.
Yeah, what's happening there? I heard that um the phones, like devices and stuff being on your phone, that cuts your testosterone level by like some horrible percentage. I can't remember right now, but it was a boy that told me, but it was like I think it was up in the 80s or something. But it was a high percentage of how much it cuts a male's testosterone, being on their phone, being on devices and stuff. And I do believe it's got men that are like gamers. They're just, yeah. Whereas if you get a male who is like playing a lot of sport, on footy teams, and on the weekends they're playing with their footy club, and just men who are doing so, I find them to be much more sexually inclined and have more of a higher sex drive than a a male that sits around on their gamer. Like if a woman wants to keep their man not out there wanting to like just get him, make him a gamer, like it just kills their sex drive. They rarely have one. It's really quite amazing. But I do think that was a what I heard about devices doing that to testosterone is true, because
Yes.
I
They're
definitely see
attacked in
it.
so many ways. Plastic is one of the main things I
Yeah.
do believe because, obviously this 25-year-old has probably been drinking out of a
Drinking.
plastic. He probably drank out of a plastic bottle when he was a baby.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I mean. Just everything. They just attack them. They just attack
Mm-hmm.
you as a
Mm-hmm.
human being, and just physically take things, spiritually take things, energetically take things. Like, yeah, you just get attacked, don't you? That'd be sad. Plus, they say like another thing is like lots of porn and stuff like that. There's too much over sexualization that you get subjected to or you have access
Mm-hmm.
to from too
Mm-hmm.
young an age. So, and
Mm-hmm.
that's a boy isn't no one is meant to, but women don't need to get hard-ons, whereas boys, that's what they do. But if it's happening and they get desensitized to that stuff, that it affects all that kind of physical mechanics and stuff later on. So I guess it's just all of it. It's all out there. That's the thing. We have to be so much more like aware of so many different things that can, that are after us and can affect us and, physically affect us, energetically affect us. But yeah, definitely need to be a lot more aware for just everything. Like, I guess guys need to be more aware of that stuff. If they're just drinking from plastic and being on their devices all the time and watching porn, as much as they can, like, they got no chance. They got to go out and reboot. They got to go out into the country, and they need a reboot.
Oh, the grounding is one of the best things for men to do,
Yeah.
and another thing too is men were also, never really taught to be spiritual. It's not cool to, to believe in God. It's not cool to, you know, to do any of that stuff, to go to church, to
No.
do your research in different religions and spirituality and everything else. They're just, there's no direction for them to, look into that. And then some of them who do go into pretty heavy into religion, then they start questioning all that stuff too, because that's all trickery too. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? I
Mm-hmm. But
I do
that's
not, look at we got,
true, but
they
that's why
we
that's
have a
why Claudia, you have to
religion.
know yourself.
Exactly. We have a religion where men don't even get married, you
Mm.
know?
Mm-hmm.
And what kind of an example is that? That's insane.
Mm.
That's not healthy for no man either. You know what I mean? That's not
No.
a healthy way.
No.
Again, there we go. The mind fuckery there.
Mm.
Our Pope is
He's Satan in human skin.
exactly. And then men are
The
not
Pope
taught
is not a normal human being.
no, he's not, but he's supposed to be, a pillar in the community
Yeah.
for
No.
Catholics or whatever,
Don't listen to the
but
Catholic Church.
yeah, but
They're,
think about the men who are Catholic though. You know what I mean? This is their
yeah.
faith,
Yeah, I
and
know.
this is what they were brought up with.
I know, but that's just another form of control and conditioning. Like, at the end of the day, if you surround yourself with just what they tell you, like, you have to know who you are. Because if you, like, say you are a full crazy Catholic, like, the Catholic is just always teaching you that if you don't do this and you don't do that, that you're unholy, and and you're not going to go to heaven, and you have to do this, you have to do that, and you have to be righteous. Like, how is a human being supposed to live their life like that? And then the second you do make mess ups, you're going to carry this, like, horrible guilt of, I did
Oh
this.
no, they're
Is
not
God going to
allowed to get
forgive me?
divorced. Most of them are
I
not allowed to get
know.
divorced, and if they do, they get kicked out of the church.
Yeah. My grandmother and grandfather were very Catholic, and they were married for 25 years. And then he had an affair with, and children were created, and he left my grandmother after 25 years. But
Hmm.
I was born, I was like 15 at the time. My grandmother was about to die, and the wife was trying to get my grandfather to get my grandmother to go to the Catholic Church and say that it was her fault that they had divorced because she was a bad wife, and that he had every right to move on and remarry. And he had been remarried for 20 plus years to this new woman. Like, I was born, I was a teenager, and they were still trying to get her to do this just so the Catholic Church would recognize their marriage. Like, even though they were divorced in public, by law and stuff, but they wanted her to go do that before she died, just so they could be married under the Catholic Church once and for all.
Oh, see, it's
But
super
she
crazy.
didn't do it.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is so crazy. And then you've
Nor
got, I mean,
should
just
you.
this is just more stuff put on, like I said, men who, do walk the godly walk and have, are part of different types of religion systems. They all are so different with their traditions and what they do. And, but it's not healthy. It is not healthy. And yes,
No.
Anne is right. Question everything, man. Question your religion, question everything about your religion. And
Mm.
by doing this, you start to find out the answers that you're seeking. And you know,
But it's true because fear, because what I find personally, because I grew up very like religion, God, the Bible was very pushed on me, heaven, hell, all that kind of stuff. And I rebelled and I didn't like it, but because I'd had like 15 solid years of this kind of like being told that I need to be godly and stuff, when I did rebel and I did all these things that I felt were bad and they were, not godly, the guilt that I felt from that put me in a very vulnerable space in like my energy and everything, because I was always like, anytime something bad happened to me or my life was, I would think, oh, it's because I did this, because I did this against, and even though I didn't believe in God, I still was told God was there. So I'm like, I'm doing wrong by God, but God doesn't exist. But now all these bad things are happening and I'm doing these bad, and that's because I'm being punished. And it just left me so like open and just in a bad state in an energetic space, a spiritual space, because I'm thinking, oh, all these things are happening to me because God's angry at me. But it's like the whole time, it's like, it's not God being angry at you. God's not up there going, oh, and you did this wrong, I'm going to punish you. It's just because you're doing shit things, you're creating an energy for yourself that these bad things are going to keep coming and coming back at you because you're creating the energy. You are the person creating this for your own self. There's no person up there that is going, you did this wrong, I will punish you, and they send it, and then when you die I will punish you and send you to, like, it's not the case. It's you. If you can make yourself better and fix what you're doing and create a better energy space, well then good things are going to start happening. And but if I had understood it like that, I probably wouldn't have ended up in the darker spaces I ended up with, because I had this idea of what God was doing up there and who he was, because someone had told me that. And that's where I find with religion, you have to be careful about, because that whole train of thought, I just don't think is healthy for any human being, to be thinking that there is something up there. Like, they're way too busy to be watching you and like, punishing you, because like that's for what your parents to do and
it's
your
not the
teachers
way
to
it
do.
works. That's not the
No,
way
it
it works
isn't.
at all.
It isn't. It really, really isn't. God, if God isn't. He's loving. He wants you to be happy. He just looks at you, or she looks at you and is like, "Why are you punishing yourself?" But they're
Yes.
not up there punishing you. Hell no.
Yes. God
And it's a
knows
terrible
how
way to think about God.
God knows how great you are. Now it's your turn to believe it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Exactly.
yeah, exactly. I love that quote. And you are what you attract. If you're a low vibrating dude who goes out and gets drunk and diminishes women and talks about a bunch of bad stuff, that is exactly what you're going to attract. You're going to attract something. You're going. That's the type of people you're going to attract around you all the time. If you're a negative person,
Mm-hmm.
and you're
Exactly.
out there, usually, look at, methamphetamines, crackheads, look at them. They all kind of migrate with each other now, don't they?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Because
Yeah,
their vibration
yes. They're,
tracks and
yep,
recognizes.
yep.
Because
They have a
really they have an
vibration.
entity in them, like, well, that's they're not in their human state of mind. There's an entity
No.
attached to
Yeah.
them,
They're
and the
completely
entity of that
hijacked. Yeah,
vibration.
they have completely been hijacked. And
Yes.
yes. And so, for men out there, I just want to give you the advice is love yourself. Give yourself time. And yes, everything that you're feeling that makes you want to push back, Is because that is again your natural innateness that you were born innately born knowing that these are the truth core values of who you are and where you come from, because our creator God, the master creator of all things, and you come from it, I come from it, we all come from it, is just love. It's just the energy of love.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that is what you are. You want to be a loving, peaceful man who wants to be with your family. Yes, it's if you're feeling that on a big level right now, and you want to be more with your family and you feel like you're left out and that you're missing out on your family, you probably are. But you innately want to be there for your family because you are here to be a protector and a provider.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys do that very, very well. Um, but there's just so much chaos and mumbo and jumbo and just crap that has been thrown at you. That is not true. None
Mm-hmm.
of it is true. So just question all that, you guys. Question every
Mm-hmm.
single bit of it. Like I said a few minutes ago, all the answers are inside of you.
Mm-hmm. And know thyself. Definitely
Okay.
know that. I hear that, and I just always think, yep, that is like key. If you know thyself, things aren't going to trigger you when you know your traumas, when you know your triggers. Like you admit them to yourself, you recognize them, and then you get to a point where you're like, okay, I know these are there, but I'm aware of them. And when they happen, you're aware of it. When you trigger, you're aware of it. Like, yep, so you can pull yourself back in. But you really have to know thyself. You have to be honest with yourself, know what you believe in, you know, just everything. And I think being honest with who you are as a person and then building yourself back up from there, but in an authentic way, I think it's really important. um, Another thing that I see, I don't know if anyone's watching, but I wanted to say this out loud to men with the females, the mother of your children, please be respectful to the mother of your children. Even if you think she is wrong at times, do that in private. But however you treat the mother of your children that your children can see, they will follow you. That is their green light, red light to how do we treat mom, is they watch you as their father treat their mom. If you're telling your wife that she is crazy, that she's psycho, and your children will grow up at some point and you might have to watch them say those things their mother, because they watch you say it and they've grown up with this opinion of, well, dad says it, so it must be true. Please be respectful to the mother of your children, and in front of your children. Do things, if you have a problem, do it in private. But it's really like, it's something that um, I've been affected by, but I've also seen, because I do work with different men and stuff, and a lot of men are married. And it's a common thing that I'm starting to hear. And that is, oh, but I'm going to stay with the mom, but I'll let my kids know, like, I'm their protector from her. And it's like, no, you cannot do that with your children. You cannot create this division of, I'm going to stay with mom because she needs help, and you kids stay over here with me, and we're going to help mom. No, do not. I do not. Sorry, Claudine. I'd like your take on this, but personally, for me, that really upsets me when I hear that, because you're creating for your children, you're taking you're taking away her right to being a mother, and having her children look at her and think, respecting her on that mother level of, if I speak it, you got to do it because I'm your mom. It takes that away from the mom. If the kid's going to grow up and think, oh, well, you've got issues. Oh, you're not quite there because dad says it. And you question your mom on that level. And I just think it's very harmful. If you think your wife or your partner is like got mental issues or they need true help them. But don't sit there and make out to your children that something's wrong with her and then condemn her in front of your children. If she truly needs help, get help. And if you don't like how she is and it's upsetting you and the relationship is toxic, remove yourself. But do not sit there and persecute the mother of your children in front of the children. I don't agree with that. And it's something that's moved me, and I've wanted to say to anyone, any male who will listen. But I think it's very important that yeah, we're aware of that when we're working, you know, as a mother father type of situation. And men, you have that power over your children. You really do, to set the narrative at times of how they see their mom and how they're going to respect their mom. So I think it's important. Moms definitely need a lot more respect than they get, um, all the time, most of the time. But listen to the you gotta listen. People, men do. They need to listen to women a lot more, especially
I
good women.
wouldn't use those words because, telling people what they need to do isn't
Yeah.
like,
Okay.
isn't very catchphrasing, but,
Yeah.
giving them that
It
perspective on what
helps.
make their life easier.
It helps. It helps when we can communicate on a more balanced level between both.
Yeah. I don't like using those words, people. I'm the same way as kind of like the men that came in, don't tell me what I need. Don't. I know what I need. And if I'm not, don't, then I'll figure it out on my own. But
Mm-hmm.
I get men when they've come to me and told me how these kind of things make them very angry. It doesn't make me
Mm-hmm.
angry. It just I will let the person know, don't tell me what I need. Who
Mm-hmm.
are you? You've never walked in my shoes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a
Mm-hmm.
kind of mind frame, I feel, these men have. And men, if you don't know what's okay, and you are feeling lost and you are confused, please come see me. This is what I counsel people for. This is what the mushrooms are for. And they work on a conscious level. So, it's really good to be able to have, medicine that helps with, your anxiety and your depression, because I know you guys also are suffering from fight and flight, and that you're in not well, panic mode, somewhere in panic mode, but you're just in survival mode, constantly in survival mode, and wonder what you got to do next. But yeah, if you're lost out there, reach out to me again. I'm at elevatedbyclaudine.com. I also have a facility, and all my information is there at my website. So please come see me. So I just kind of wanted to do a side note on that. And then with what Anne was talking about, the narrative of, I guess what I would call, if you're co-parenting, or if you're together and you're still together, yeah, it's not very healthy for you to shame the mom, because if you shame the mom and the mom shames the dad, you're shaming the child, and you're shaming the whole clan, the whole
Mm-hmm.
unit.
Mm-hmm.
And that is not healthy at all. Not, and yes, it is top behavior. They learned it probably from their father or their mother, and they brought it into the relationship. And then they're going to teach it to their children. Your
Mm-hmm.
children will grow up to diminish and to talk very poorly to their spouse. And it's very sad. It's actually really disgusting. I
Mm-hmm.
hear men who like to diminish their wives, or wives who like to diminish their husband,
Mm-hmm.
or brothers and sisters who like to diminish each other in joking ways with jokes.
Mm-hmm.
And it don't look good. It doesn't look good at
Not
all.
good.
It's a
No.
very unattractive look. Yeah. Yeah. It's just like a sloppy drunk on the,
Mm-hmm.
trying to come and talk to you. It's just not attractive at all. But yeah, I agree with Ann. If you change, if like I said again, I'm gonna repeat myself. You shame the mother, you shame the father, you shame the children, and you shame the whole clan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, yeah, and that's something that I personally have had to learn from, because my children, we grew up with a lot of nasty sarcasm in the household.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen how it's carried on, when we have family gatherings and stuff. And I've had to look at my children now and say, "Don't do that. That's not right."
No. And I just see like fathers, they really do. Like they might not think they're that important because it's always, mom, mom, mom. But the men really do. They have
Oh,
a very big but they're kind of like the top, they're the head of the family, and people do see them like that, so they do have that, that responsibility of like,
Yes,
I'm the head
yes.
of the family, I'm the father, I'm that male energy. So kind of they I can't think of the word, but the temperament of the house and the family, the father, you have a very big role, and you have a lot of say in the way the family is and stuff. So that's why I say it, like, you know being the male, like, those are the kinds of things I think are really important, that as a male, understand your responsibility, understand why you healing and being better as the male and the head and the father in the family is so important, because your children really do look up to you. Like, I have two children, and I'm telling you, my ex-husband has way more, um like, with what the children, how they are, like, they're much more where they'll go to dad and what dad says, and they'll listen to, and they'll become way more than me. Like, it's mom, mom's nurturing, and, oh, mom, mom cooked me food, but they really listen to their dad, and I see that. I listen to my dad. So you have a big responsibility being born a male, and I think when you become head of that family and stuff, it's your responsibility, because you're creating that family, and those children go into the world and they create their, so as a male, like, yeah, those are things I think are really, really important, to create and understand. And we can create a better world when we're creating better families and stuff. So that's my feelings about that male role.
Exactly. And for the men who know thyself, who truly know themselves and do not think with their penis, and you innately know, you're in touch with what you innately know and how you know it. Let me tell you guys do it well. What men do innately and naturally, you guys do it so well. So
Mhm.
well, as the protectors and the guardians that you are of this planet. And also, the logistics that men do. Men know logistics very, very well. They know how to run a community and make sure everyone is doing what they're supposed to be doing, and how things are supposed to function and flow in a community, so you have a very healthy, good community running. So,
Mhm. Exactly.
yeah, again, for any men who want to tap into more of this subject, like I said, contact me or Ann at elevatedbyclaudine.com and go under services, and you'll see all the services we have. And then just go ahead and call my facility and book an appointment and have a conversation with one of us if you want to. I know Ann, you can find her on Facebook just as Ann Kelman. So we should probably put
I
your last name. Yeah, we should probably put your last name on your name right
my
there so people
face.
can find you on Facebook. Yeah. Because she does do a messenger, and she's on Instagram on Messenger too.
Hmm.
So for you guys who like to talk through Messenger, she's really good at that. I'm not very good at it. You can send me a message through Messenger, and it probably be 2 or 3 days before I get a chance to look at it. But again, I'm really busy over here in America helping men. And then
I get a
also
lot of men.
and then
I
being a
get a lot
mom
of
of
men that like
five,
psychic
huh?
stuff.
What?
I get a lot of men that like are interested in psychic stuff, that will come and like talk to me and ask me. You know, they're a little bit
Oh,
more
neat.
apprehensive than the females with
Oh,
the psychic.
what I've been learning about all these men, and then I pick up clients that come in regularly. I have this one that I have to mention him. I just love him, but I'm not going to put his name out there. But he has 8 children. He has 7 boys and 1 girl.
It's a lot of
Yeah,
kids.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And he has a pool service. And it's very successful pool service here in Arizona. Pools are very, everyone, to live in Arizona, you have to have a pool. It's a requirement. So
Hmm.
there's a lot of pools here in Arizona. And he's a lot of fun to talk to. I mean, 7 boys. Could you imagine having 8 children?
No, no way.
I know. I
It's a
know.
lot
And
of
just
kids.
listening to him and listening and helping him guide through, maneuver and guide through things. It's been so much fun. He just, this is, I'm seeing so many wonderful things when it comes to the male energy though lately too. It's not, just like I said, they're just very lost, and that's, what I'm mainly seeing,
Mm.
because of their innateness being stripped from them. But anyways, this is really, this touched me very big time when his son got someone pregnant.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're 18 years old. And the
Oh,
parents forced her to have an abortion at 4 months. And
no.
he
That's a bit traumatic.
blew his lid. Oh, he went down there and told them they had no right to abort his grandchild.
Mm.
And I was
Pretty.
just like, good for you. Good for you have a right, and your son have a right to say something about this. You guys are part of this pregnancy too. That she wouldn't be in that situation if it wasn't for your son.
But why didn't they do something? Did they find out after the fact?
After the fact, they found out. Yeah. After the fact. Yeah.
That's so tricky, but oh my
Isn't
god.
that, I know. And the
That's just so tricky because when you're the mother of the
we're
girl,
excited
like I
about
have girl
being a
and boy
grandpa.
like you know, my daughter's the older one, the eldest in the family. I don't know. It would be so I would never force her to, but if she was questioning like becoming a mom and not knowing, I don't know, I'd struggle with that situation. Like I would be like, well, you got to do what's best for you. Like
Yeah, but
I
it's
would
not right
definitely,
to tell, not to tell the
you should
man. If the
never
man, if you were
force.
in a relationship with a man and you do not tell him that you're, I don't know. To
Oh,
me,
no, no, no.
but not
She
only
would
that,
have
but
to
then
tell
they
her
robbed,
boyfriend.
yeah, they robbed this man of being a grandfather.
Yeah, for sure. I would say you have to tell the boy's parent, like the boy, because like, what if the parents of the boy are like, oh, we can look after it, we'll be fine, and then the girl's like, oh yeah, that's cool. Like, I'll keep a baby as long as I've got that kind of like support system. That would change everything. So, both sides have to know with
Yeah,
that one.
it was just so, and oh God, I just thought it was really, really sweet how upset he got because his chance of being a grandfather was taken from him. And this is already a man who has 8 children. He's single, a single man, owns his business, 8 children, and he was just like, how do you have that right? But anyways, yeah, I just really thought that was really a cool story, and I mean, I feel sorry for him and stuff. It was, I mean, everything all worked out the way it did and the way it is, and he's learning this. This is part of one of his traumas that he's having to deal with the past couple months. So, and I'm helping him work through that. So,
Mhm. Nice,
yeah,
very lovely.
yes,
Yeah. Mm. Male
and
male energy is just such a funny one. I struggle with the male species.
oh, Nova's here. Yes, I
Hello,
sorry, Nova. I meant
Nova.
to say hi to you a few minutes ago. And hello, Nova. How are you? How's it going, sister? How are you feeling? What are we on? Are we on week 2 or week 3? So she'll probably be chiming in here pretty soon. Nova is one of my current newest clients that I am winging off of a bunch of pharmaceuticals, 14 of them. And one of them is Suboxone, you guys. So, and that is a synthetic opiate. Um, so we'll have her, she'll chime in here, and we'll post her comments and what she's saying and how she's doing. And she put so true. She's also raising a boy. She's got one son herself. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure she could totally identify with the whole co-parenting and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
and that we were talking about. She
Mm-hmm.
said, "Okay, here I do too, and LO, I am feeling okay." And 3, I think. Okay, 3. Oh, so we're on week 3. Let me see. Is that going to go on? Yep. Yep. Okay, we're on week 3 of her detoxing off of these pharmaceuticals. She's just gonna stay pretty steady right now. I don't think you're jumping, right? Not anywhere, because she went off 8. She went down 8 milligrams, so that's fine. She can go ahead and stay there for a while till she's comfortable and ready to make the next jump, which will probably be baby step jumps from here. Um, I don't know. It's hard to. I'm feeling from her that she's gonna do baby jumps for a while just because it's gonna be kind of intense for her, the withdrawals.
Mm-hmm. Mm. The
So
withdrawals.
yeah.
Oh, I'll tell you something later about that. The withdrawals.
Oh yeah, they're
I
heavy. They're
got, maybe
super
I'll
heavy.
just say it because I kind of don't really care. People can hear my experience. I don't have a lot to hide. So I was on like hardcore oxys and Valium, all sorts, Lyrica for my back. And I just went cold turkey off a lot of things. So there was a period of my life, maybe 2 years at least, but one main year, so 2019, where it was really like I went hardcore. I went to the, was going to the gym. I just went from being that person to like trying to go full 360 all in one day. Um, and I was having a conversation with like my ex and stuff, and he's talking about, oh, 2000, still carrying on about that. And they like, so my coming off of it, I had a lot of like crazy experiences, like energetically, and I guess I was sleeping and whatnot differently. But he was like, he was questioning me because I was like hanging out with some particular person, and he's like questioning me, saying that I was like, were you on crack because your come downs and you would sleep for days? I don't remember, but I'm like, I wasn't on crack, I'll tell you that much. I was like trying to come off everything. So like maybe my the way I did things was different, and energetically I was having like such a change in like who I was and how I was, because like it does, it's you changing everything. You know, your whole body's coming off of something that has been like controlling your mind, your even your eating, everything about your moods, everything about you. So when you come off of it, you know, you're having to reboot. But that's how much I guess I was like changing. And they're like, you were on crack. Like, what the hell? I don't even know what crack looks like. But
No, it makes you feel like you're on crack.
it does. You have these like, you have these energy like reboots that happen that almost like on a spiritual level, but like they're real. I can't even explain it. Where it's like you think you're like, you think you're super freaking psychic, and it's like, what the hell, am I always going to be like this? But that's just your body like having that stuff come out of you, and like I guess your brain, parts of your brain coming back on, and parts of your organs starting to come back to life. And but yeah, you really do, you know, you do change and feel that coming off of medication. And I guess your personality can change to some extent, you know, and what people are seeing you do, as you know, with the after effects of detoxing, all that stuff. I guess it's quite big. Like you do have these really big bouts of like things that happen to you. But yeah, that's how much mine would like must have changed, like really changed me. That's what I got accused of. And I'm like, what? I wasn't on crack. I was like trying to come off of every fucking pharmaceutical out there. But I wasn't on crack. I wasn't changing one for another. But
Right.
yeah.
Especially when that's that harsh.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Yeah. So she is. She's got to come. She went hardcore. She went down 8 milligrams, and yeah, she's got heart rhythmia. She's got heart problems. She has a pacemaker. She's got a ring around one of her heart valves, and then she has a stent, I think, in one of them, or something's going. I know she's got a third one with some stuff going on. Um,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
So
That's
she's going to
so
be
much.
doing. Yeah. So we're doing. Yeah, I was right. We're going to do the baby jumps, which is fine. Slow and easy wins the race too. There is no race in recovery. Recovery, like Anne was just talking about, where you have kind of like personality changes or something different. Well, that's because you got sober eyes on. You get your sober eyes on, you're going to see the world differently. When you start to take these layers back of the, pharmaceuticals are no different. They're no different than the street drugs, they're an addictive. They're, they make you, well, except for with the street drugs, you get a little too addicted and they diminish the body a little bit faster
And
than
you
the
can become very
pharmaceuticals.
psychotic from street stuff, because like the poisons that are in that are like
Oh,
they're
that's
not
right.
measured. You know, you can psychosis and all that kind of stuff is, whereas on pharmaceuticals you're not really going to get psychosis per se, you know, compared to, you might take one hit of something on the street and that's you're gone for the rest of your life. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah. They're not. Yeah, they're. They don't know what they're getting. Real dirty stuff. But
yeah.
and that okay. So the third valve is she's got a mechanical heart valve. So she's got some intense stuff going on. I mean, something that I've never walked in her shoes. So, I've never been that sick like that before, but she's got this. She's going to fully heal. She knows the power of her mind. She knows the power of her body. She knows how amazing her body is. And not only that, but she's a mom. And moms are powerful. We're so
Hmm.
powerful.
Hmm.
Just
We
that
sure
word in
are.
itself.
Hmm.
Um, Okay, just keep writing notes here. Okay, so another thing that I was gonna tap into and just talk about a little bit was I wanted to talk a little bit about parasites, you guys.
Parasites. I thought yesterday
Parasites.
parasites are archons, are demons and
Yes.
archons.
Yes. Yes. Parasites can be associated with demons. That is so true.
Hmm.
Uh-huh.
I
Uh-huh.
saw that yesterday on Instagram. I was watching a video and they were talking about parasites, but how parasites aren't just like physical parasites. They're actually like there's a spiritual, like that's why in the Bible it tells you not to eat pigs, because pigs really they have they're parasitic, um, because they have one stomach. They're the closest to human DNA, and I guess when we eat that, the parasites that attach to our bodies probably are not good parasites. And yeah, they said they're demons and archons inside your body.
Yes,
So
they pollute. Parasite is a gateway for demonic oppression.
I believe that.
Mm.
100% agree with it. 100%.
And I wrote a few things down here, you guys, so we can, we can talk about this. I think we've got an hour left. Yeah, we got, 111 here. Okay. Um, and I just made a whole bunch of notes because I work with parasites and I help people get rid of parasites. I actually have parasite cleanse, parasite. I have parasite teas that kills parasites. And some of my teas are made with mushrooms, so that's really cool. Reishi kills parasites, you guys. And there's all kinds of parasites. And guess what else is really cool about these critters? That they are so smart. I got to put that out there right out there right now, you guys. Parasites are smarter than you. They are a fungus. They've been hosted in your body. Some of them could host in your body for as long as you've been alive. Um,
Mm-hmm.
uh-huh. Um, they also, did you know this, that parasites make you crave the foods that you're eating?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the foods that you're
Sure
craving
do.
and that you're eating is because the parasite is making you crave that particular food. And what I did was I wrote down, so some of the most basic known parasites, I've got 6 of them here. You got the roundworm. You got the hookworm, you got the fluke, you got the tapeworm,
Pinworm.
nematodes, whipworms, candida,
Mm-hmm.
and protozoa. And these are very common worms that are funguses, whatever, parasites that are very common that are put into our foods. And sometimes you guys, because of the foods that it makes you crave, it brings extreme sexual desires. That's another thing with the male. They've been under attack
Oh,
in that way too.
that's crazy.
Yes. And
Believe
in
it.
my Yeah, it isn't it crazy? It's real. These are facts. It brings extreme sexual desires, and these type of parasites that do this to people or to men are usually like your shellfish, um, your stuff that they call aphrodisiacs.
Oh, that makes sense. That's why, like all them oysters and eating fresh oysters, I've stopped doing that because of the
Mm-hmm.
parasites.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yes, I honestly, these are dots that I've connected, through with what I do. You guys, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, I'm not any of that, but I am a physician that helps people with trauma. And when we get to the root of the trauma, it can be physical, non-physical, and it can be of all kinds of different reasons where that trauma got there from. And yes, I do deal with sexual trauma. So yeah, so that's another thing that's hijacking men and women. It hijacks the nervous system. They hijack the nervous system because they hide in there in your cells.
Yes, yes, they do, and they just travel. They're everywhere. They're from your feet all the way up to your head. They really like to go there, all up in there. But you know what it is? It's not really so much that they're in your head. It's um they're in your stomach channels. So your stomach channels run all the way from your feet all the way up there. So even if it's in your, say if it's in your liver, and they're just like all running around eating up your or being in your liver, you're going to feel, and that's all going to be up here too, because you have liver and gallbladder channels that run up through there right behind your ear and go into your head, and that's your stomach channel, and they're going to be in there too because you have liver channels that run through there too in your feet. So that's why it's not like they're literally like crawling around up it. They're in your stomach channels, and your
No,
stomach
they're
channels
in your
run
head. No,
through
they
it. They
no,
are,
they get
they
in your
are, but the
head, they get in
stomach
your eyeballs, they get in your throat. That is
for
absolutely
sure.
true.
But what I
Yes.
mean is like you can go and clean out your stomach channels, and you can clean out that issue. Like I'll say this: there's a housewife like that used to be famous, and she's got heaps of Botox in her face, but she has this issue, and she's saying like her face is all falling apart, and people are saying, oh, it's Botox, it's Botox. But she's got health professionals that are telling her that she has a really bad parasite in her face, and it's like eating away, and she can feel bubbling inside her, and her jaw pops, and you know and her face, her skin literally like falls apart in different places, and she said she can feel this parasite move. But yeah, it's up there, but it's also in your stomach channel. So like they keep attacking her face and trying to kill the parasite through her face, but it's like you also got to deal with the stomach. You can't just attack the parasite in your face. You got to kill the parasite in your gut too.
Well,
Does that,
yeah,
you know?
it could start sometimes in the gut, but doesn't always have to start in the gut. A lot of them do like to invade the small and large intestines, your bioducts,
Mm.
all that stuff. All I'm going to go over a few of these parasites that I just named. I'm going to go over a few of what they do, what they make you crave, where they float around in the body. But one of the things I want to talk about too is where do you get these parasites from? Where do they come from? I mean, okay, you've got parasites, but where'd they come from? Why do you have them?
What you eat?
One of it, yes, is undigested food.
A
A
lot
lot
of
of things that influence you or influence us here in America is what, we're getting loaded with. We're getting loaded with microplastics, pesticides, chemtrails, heavy metals coming out of those chemtrails, which causes the candida. That's one of the parasites. And then undigested food. And then yeah, you want to talk about food, of course it's in the food. Do you ever okay, the reason that fast food spots have the colors red, orange, and yellow in them, have you ever wondered why that? It's a subliminal message
I'm listening.
that it will keep us dwelled in our lower three chakras.
Yeah, for sure.
If you look at
It's an agenda.
every fast food place in America, Burger King, yellow or gold and red and white and blue. Wendy's,
Ah,
red and white. KFC, red and white.
right.
Chick-fil-A,
Yeah.
red and white.
Yeah.
McDonald's, gold, red, and white. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A-
Yeah.
And
Oh, okay. I'm understanding. Yeah. Yeah. And that should, and to talk about the lower three chakras, like for it to attack.
yes, yes, because they want us unhealthy as possible.
Yeah, for sure. For
Yeah, to
sure.
make
That's how
us,
you control
to
the
make us
human.
susceptible to these parasites and entities that crave these foods. They crave
Mhm,
these types of foods, okay? And they're
mhm,
very unnatural foods. When you get foods from a fast food place, they're very unnatural.
mhm. Yeah. They're not there to feed the human. They're there to feed the parasite. Those foods are not made for your health and
No,
well-being.
they're not. They're
That
and
is,
they're
they're created to feed your parasites in your body,
which
so they
causes you
can
to,
flourish.
well, yeah, that which those parasites make you become a patient and a customer of big pharmaceutical,
Hmm.
which is black magic. Pharmaceuticals is black magic at its finest.
Hmm. Yes.
So, and then all the parasites they come up with different problems, and is right. They release toxins and they do all kinds of horrible things in your body.
Mhm.
Okay, so let me see. Where do we start here? What did I say?
There's so many levels of like the way you get affected by parasites. Like you can have it from
Mm-hmm.
just craving sweets and shit food, and that's how the
Mm-hmm.
parasite's affecting you,
Mm-hmm.
to I guess your face full melting and breaking down because there's a really bad parasite eating away in your lymphatic system. So like there's so many different levels. I had a very, I think my original getting sick was from a parasite, like heavy metals and parasite overload, and my body just exploded from it. So, and that was in a physical way I got affected by it. Like it just kind of was in my gut and stomach channels, and nothing was being able to move and shift. And yeah, it just slowed down my the way my body's processing everything going into it because of this issue in there. So I think there's so many different levels of how the parasites can affect you. But I think the number one thing they do is they instantly lower your vibration. Like they keep you in a state of vibration in your body physically with what they get you to do. And you kind of just get stuck there. So,
Exactly, exactly. Because having the parasites from, like, again, I said, from every fast food, if you're craving fast food, that's a parasite. That is a parasite, okay? Because every microbes, you guys, every microbes of any kind of fungus, any kind of parasite, it becomes from a microbe. That's where they come from. That's the scientific word of them. And every microbe has an appetite of something different. Okay. For example, sugars. It could seek fibers. It could seek fats, fatty foods. A lot of them, candida seeks carbohydrates.
mhm.
Okay. So each one of these, and Anna's right. It is to lower your vibration. Now, I know I don't talk about this too much, but that is what the darkness is for. That is what our shadow government and the food industry and everything that we have here in America is to lower your energy, because what they're doing is, see, your your currency is your number one energy. Your number one energy is your currency. Your currency is
Yep.
what they're after. It's what we call loosh. They're trying to rob you of your loosh, your currency. Your number one currency, I mean, energy is your currency, period. And that is what the shadow governments, lower dimensional beings, and everything else that's really low on this and dark on this planet, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to capture and to hijack your loosh, because that is
Yep.
what, yes. Okay, look up the word loosh, you guys, to see what it means. Loosh. And it's a new word. I know it's a new concept for a lot of people, but this is what they're doing. And by filling us with parasites and pharmaceuticals, and then all of this stuff is regulated by more government agencies like the USDA, the FDA. Those are our governments here in America, and which is the
Hmm.
United States Department of Agriculture, and then the FDA is the Food and Drug Administration. And they're the
Hmm.
ones who oversee everything, and they're the ones who allow all this poison into the foods.
Hmm.
And and it is
But
to,
that's how they attack the human.
oppression. oppression by
Mhm.
by keeping us the oppression inside of us and keeping us sick. So
Mhm.
now let's go ahead and okay. So this is I did a little bit of homework and I wrote some stuff down so that I and some notes regarding all these different worms and parasites that are out there and the types of food you crave. So let's go ahead and talk about this. So if you crave these types of foods, this is the type of parasite that you might possibly be battling. And I don't know that I've ever met a human on this planet who doesn't have a parasite. When I see you and I consult with you, the first thing I'm going to see is your parasites, what you are battling. Because again, there is a real war going on inside of you. And you realize that once you come to the realization that you have a parasite and that it is robbing you from your health.
Mhm.
And everyone's got them. I am not exempt from
Mhm.
this.
Mhm.
I had candida and fluke. Those are the two parasites that I struggle with and that I have to keep, and I'm still struggling with them. I mean, I got them pretty much under control, but you know what? I'm still working on not creating environments in my body for them to grow and latch on. Okay? That's what it's about. That's where I'm at right now with my journey with all of this. But there's the roundworm. The roundworm, it craves salt, sugar, beer, carbs, and meat. If you crave meat, the infection causes anemia. It takes your iron. So that roundworms rob they the reason why you crave meat and all that stuff is because they're robbing you and you got anemia. If you have anemia, you could have a roundworm because it's taking your iron.
Mhm. Interesting.
Yes. Yes.
Very
And then we've got the hookworms. They like salty foods,
interesting.
sugars, carbs, and meat also
Mhm.
because it also cause hookworms can cause anemia too, and it
Mhm.
takes your iron. And it also this is so crazy. Okay, it also can cause you to crave non-food cravings like dirt and clay.
Interesting.
Uh huh. Uh huh. So if you are craving something like that, so it's a hookworm that you would have, and all of like I said, this stuff comes from the air, from animals, from foods. So
Mhm.
who knows, they come from all kinds of different
Mhm.
sources. And then the fluke parasite, that's the one that I had. Oh my gosh, that
Mhm.
one. Oh, that one, I
I have
had
a
a
lot of
journey.
flukes on my.
I had a journey with that one. Oh my gosh. When I gave birth to him, I didn't I swear I thought it was an alien. I'm like, what is that?
Yeah, I think I got a lot of flukes in my on my liver that I'm still trying to like flush out. I have so much in my liver that I'm still trying to break down and get rid of, and but yeah, mine's thick. Mine's thick, thick. It's
Okay, so
a.
you're gonna like this one, and the fluke targets various organs,
Mm,
especially the liver
mm-hmm. Yeah.
and your
Yeah.
intestines.
Yeah.
It lives. The fluke will live in your
Yeah.
liver, in your intestines, in your lungs.
Yeah. Definitely. That's what I have. I see them because I have like they look like I've seen this thing where it's like it looks like you have oats because I always look at them when I do. I look at
I do
everything
too.
that comes
I
out
do
of me.
too.
But I always look in like, I see when I have parasites come out of me, but I have these little things and they almost look like corn kernels or they look more to me like little bits of oats. And I saw this lady and she's like, oh, if you have this, that's little flukes coming out. And every so often I'll just have like a whole bunch. Like I'll feel like I really need to go to the toilet and flush out. And like I'm, like you said, giving birth. And I'll look back and it will like look like little bits of oats in my poop. And apparently that's flukes coming out. So
Yes. Those are little flukes, and flukes can come in different sizes. I
yeah.
do believe that I may have given birth to my host because all parasites have a host, you guys.
Yeah.
They all have a host and they have babies, and I mean they just set up camp in your house. I mean in your body. They set up house and camp in your body. So they're very aggressive. They're much more smarter than you are. I'll tell you that. They've been living
Oh
in your
yeah.
body. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
And they, you know, I think this is very true. When you see someone who needs to be like parasitically, they need a flush out, and so I get a lot of people that come to me like for psychic stuff because they're struggling. No, psychically. And I'll psychically help them. Not a lot's helping, and I can tell you need a parasite. You need to go detox from like just basic shit. As soon as you bring up the parasite stuff, they bolts. They are gone. They're fat. You can't get rid of them until you talk about parasites, and then they're gone, and they just disappeared. And it's like their parasite does not want you to flush it out, so they make the human run away from you, and they're just gone.
Yep.
And I'm like,
Yep.
your parasite doesn't want to be flushed out.
No. Oh no, it sees you front and center. Oh yeah, it's
It
so
does, and
crazy.
it's like, oh, this lady that this lady can see me. I need to get my human away from her from her. But dead
Right.
set, they're so smart. Them parasites, they really, yeah, they really do take over the human.
They have a bigger intelligence than we do. So they do. We just, because we're human and we just think, because, humans just think they're above everything at times and stuff, but not when it comes to these parasites, not at all. And it's not a one detox fixes all. It doesn't. This is a lifestyle change. You
Yes,
literally have to
exactly.
change it. Once you see these guys come out, if you're not a changed person, then I don't know what's going to change you
But
because,
you do change because your whole way of thinking just it
oh
does
my
it changes.
gosh.
you
Oh
you
yeah.
start you start to feel really different, and you just start to have your vibration can lift higher. You're much more aware of being able to, and things like you become more clear headed, so when you hear things, it's just everything processes better in the physical human mind when you don't have these parasites that just are leeching off your energy. But it definitely makes you feel like, I don't know if anyone does parasite detoxing and still has that same low vibration. I don't think I've ever seen that happen. Everyone that I've seen do parasite
No, no,
cleanses,
no, no,
they
no.
do. They really lift off the ground with their energy, you
Once
know.
you detox your parasites, you get them under control. Oh, it's a good feeling. It's a really good feeling. But like I said, it's a lifestyle change. And these
Mm-hmm.
fluke parasites, which are like round. Let me see. I can draw one. Let me draw one for you guys. Okay. Let me see. Let me find a piece of paper. They kind of look like this. Can you see?
Yes, like a piece of like an oat, like a full oat thing.
Yeah, they
Mm.
like they got yeah, they're just flat. They're not
Yeah.
wormy like the other ones, like
No.
the hook. Yeah, like the other two we talked about, the
Yeah.
roundworm, the hookworm.
The
Those
round.
ones kind of like a worm with like a funky head. But the fluke is like a way different type. And again, that those ones, again, like I said a few minutes ago, those ones live in your intestines, your liver, your lungs, your gallbladder, your throat,
Mm-hmm.
your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much anywhere where you carry moisture in your body, a lot of moisture, they're there. And so, and then another thing with these things is that the cravings reflect the body's attempt to restore balance. Okay, the same thing as what we were talking about earlier with the iron. If you have anemia, it might be because it takes your iron. Okay, so it does crave fatty foods,
Mm-hmm. Sugars.
makes the body struggle to process and obtain fats. It causes obstruction. Yeah, it's a nasty, nasty one. It makes you crave bitter food like greens, kale, arugula, cravings. I just kind of put that in there. I don't know. Lemons, grapefruits, probably. Anything that's bitter. Probably kimchi, sauerkraut, fermented food. I'd probably say is bitter foods too.
Mm-hmm. Mm. I
Um,
probably crave bitter more than I do sweet.
And the reason why it does this and it craves that is because I feel like the body, because that is all good stuff. Kimchi, fermented food, that is good. That is actually parasite killing food right there. But I think it's the body due to the liver struggling to detox when
Mm,
you have these.
yes, yes, that makes sense.
Does that make sense? Yeah. And
Interesting.
that's why
Yeah,
you crave those foods. Yeah. It's
yeah.
like a good thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, because
Mm-hmm.
your liver needs help. So your liver's going, these are the things I want to eat because I need help to like. Because your liver, it works so hard. It really does work really
It
hard.
does.
Because it's
It
only
does.
one organ. Like it's one organ that has to just take on everything. Like it takes on all the chemicals. Like even like if you spray bug spray in the air and then you inhale it, that goes to your liver. Like your liver takes everything. You know, you
Your
put on
liver,
deodorant,
yeah, it's
it
your
takes
main
that.
detoxer. Yes, it
Yeah,
is your.
and then on top of being the detoxer to everything, it's also your emotional store, like anger and sadness. Like it's all the liver that takes all of that on through your entire life. So like if you think about it, you gotta be you really should protect it and take care of it and give
Mm-hmm.
it the best chance to function. But we don't. We absolutely no one. I don't like you get the Chinese practitioners and stuff, but your normal human being, I don't see a lot of humans go, oh, I gotta protect my liver. When really that's what we should be saying. Even like when anger is coming at you, you should go, oh, I can't have that anger because I gotta protect my liver.
Exactly.
Like
Yep.
protect it because
Yep.
it's just taking a beating.
It does. It really, I mean, your liver does everything. You guys, it
Does.
detoxes everything. It detoxes the bio,
Mm-hmm.
alcohol, everything that you put in your body is what the
Yeah.
detoxifiers to, then takes it to the gallbladder, right? Okay.
Yeah.
For people who
Yeah.
know basic, anatomy. And that's all I know. I don't even really know anatomy too well. What I do know is I know the human body and I know my body and how to connect the dots of how everything is connected. And when you've got, homeostasis and all your different systems, then you are a very balanced, healthy person. Okay, so this fluke little critter also will make you crave where are we at, protein rich foods
Mm. I definitely
because
have flukes. That's definite.
uh-huh it does that because because it wants to restore balance. Remember, the fluke attacks the body so hard, your organs, that your body starts to talk to you kind of through the cravings because of the parasite.
Yeah.
This is kind of a different type of scenario
Yeah.
that this parasite does. Yeah. And the body, that's just how amazing the body is. Okay. So it makes you crave high protein rich foods. It says here that the flake, I wrote down, the flake can damage tissues and cause protein loss, so you
Mm-hmm.
lose your proteins because you're not metabolizing it properly.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
rich protein foods could be meat, eggs, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Nuts.
Interesting.
Yeah, nuts,
Mm-hmm.
all that stuff. And then,
Mm-hmm.
of course, it also feeds off of sugars and carbs. Most parasites do feed and grow off of sugars and carbs because the reason why most parasites do, I think almost every single one of them do feed off of sugars and carbs, is because it metabolizes the glucose for survival.
Mm-hmm.
I'm almost sure that's a fact with almost every parasite that it needs its glucose for survival. Almost positive. And you can also can crave spicy, and then we said this again, sour foods, bitters, sour foods, all the same thing as a response to digestive discomfort.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I have a lot of that.
Uh-huh. And fluke again comes from a lot of raw fish, a lot of raw fish and shellfish, which
Mm-hmm.
also is considered an aphrodisiac. So
I eat a
it's,
lot of fish, but I cook my fish. Does that count? But
yeah,
I
no,
like
that's
seafood.
different. That's different
The
when you, yeah.
process is faster.
If you look up, just go on Google and how do you prevent from getting fluke parasites. I think that's like one of the first things that comes up. Cook your fish very well, and
Yeah.
your shrimp, and yeah, it
Yeah.
just goes in there. Just cook it really well.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
and then
Yeah.
we've got the good old. This is a very old one. This was a big thing when I was little. A lot of kids had this. It was called tapeworms.
Mm-hmm.
Animals get tapeworms. Dogs and cats get
Yeah.
tapeworms. I think a lot too.
Yeah.
And that, yeah, that's a very common one. And they feed off of sugary foods and carbohydrates, rich foods. Tapeworms feed off glucose, craving sugar, breads, pastas, salty protein, fatty foods, unusual cravings like chalk.
Like what?
Chalk. Like the
Oh,
chalkboard, you know, chalk? Yeah.
oh
Tapeworms
yeah.
can make you, yeah, can make you crave chalk.
Crazy. Well, I don't crave chalk, so
Unusual cravings that these things can do. I know. Do
yeah.
you there used to be a show here in America called Strange and Wild and Crazy Addictions. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember watching it, and this lady had an addiction to chalk, and she'd
There
keep
you
it in her
go.
pocket. Yeah, and she'd
Yeah.
snap it. You can hear her snapping it during the
Yeah.
show. And then she'd buy
There you go. It was a parasite.
for sure. Always a parasite.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. But that's crazy. So all those, when you see these people doing weird things, it's like, oh, it's just a parasite. We used to think it's like something like supernatural, but no, it's just but that's why they say parasites are like super, like spiritual, like it goes hand in hand together, because you do these weird things because these energies attached to you because you got this thing inside you. And you know what? I also learned, so in the spiritual world, they, when you're messy, so bad spirits and those low vibrating spirits, they like physically damp places. Like if you get a house that's real damp and cold and got a lot of moss growing around you, it'll be creepier, and you'll have, you have more things growing in it. But also even spiritually, like you might get a lot of like weird, you get creepy feelings and stuff, because that's where they like to breed and stay and hide in. So the parasites are breeding in those grounds inside your body. So when you have more of that inside your body and you got all that dark, sinister crap going on, you're going to have more of that in your energetic field too, because that's where they
Ex-
like to hide and breed, and all the demons just all all multiplying in there along with the parasites, and then you just
uh-huh.
become crazier and crazier.
Yeah, that's exactly kind of what these parasites do. And I did write this down. Another thing wanted to write down, I wrote down was says it diminishes your ambitions and your spiritual gifts. That's what they do. Um,
For sure.
I want to say that as soon as I started detoxing these parasites and I changed my diet in another way again, which I got off of sugar. I've been off of sugar now for over a year. I do not F around with no sugar. I do not, will not touch it, will not have it. I accidentally got sugared once or twice this year on accident. I had no idea. And I was very sick for 3 days. And I was like, oh my gosh. It was like, when you get a really bad hangover after drinking, you're like, that's it. I know for a fact now I'm never ever drinking again.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it was like for me. And so those are the things I had to do. I had to get off sugar. I am off sugar and I'm very proud of that. And that is a very, very hard thing because that's where self control really comes into play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I remember texting you. It was a year ago. I don't know if you know that, but it was last December when I said, this is it. I'm done. No more
Mm-hmm.
sugar.
I know. I remember. I remember.
Mm-hmm.
I know you have a big thing with sugar.
Yeah.
I don't have as big of a problem with sugar. I wasn't allowed to have sugar growing up. You know, being in a Christian cult, it's just one of those spiritually, you're not supposed to eat sugar. That was one of their things. So we didn't get given, we definitely didn't get given any sugar we had was full natural sugar, like brown coconut sugar. Like we'd get in big tins and stuff. So we weren't allowed to have any candy, anything from the outside world, as they called it. So I didn't really grow up with that craving, but yeah, I like my fruit
That's good.
sugars.
That's
Yeah, it
good.
is. It's definitely, and I brought up my kids. I didn't say that my kids couldn't have sugars, but I just didn't buy a lot of it. I did more with my son, but my daughter, I just never really bought it, and she's doesn't have a big sugar craving now, which I think is good when you cannot have that craving because it doesn't serve you well. But
Yeah,
I love
well,
my
I w-
fruit.
yeah, I didn't eat. No, it's not like I'd go buy cookies and pastries. I was never like that. I'm not that type of a sugar person. I've always liked like salty stuff like pickles and vinegar chips, potato chip stuff. That was always my vice.
Mhm.
But what I realized was there was a lot of things that I was purchasing thinking that I was okay and that they were healthy, like protein bars,
Mhm. Mhm.
some of the frozen um Indian food that I would get,
Mhm. A lot of hidden sugars.
all have sugar. Everything has sugar, even all the
Oh
way
yeah.
down to, yeah, even to everything has sugar.
Yep.
Everything added
Yep.
sugar, natural sugars. Da, da, da. And I didn't realize this how much I really was getting snuck into my diet. I
Yep.
really, not until I started paying attention. I was like, oh my gosh. And yeah, I ended up cutting a lot of foods out. I don't eat frozen foods at all anymore. That's absolutely a no-no.
Mhm.
So I do have a frozen cauliflower dough that I will eat to make me a pizza, and that's about as far as it goes when it comes to pizza with me. But even my frozen pizzas I were getting that I thought were healthy were even had like 20 grams of sugar in them. Oh my gosh, that's insane.
I know. So many sugars. So many hidden sugars.
So many hidden sugars. That was what was my culprit, was that right there. But you never catch me going down and buying uh, cake or cinnamon rolls. Nah, I was never that type of person. But you
Mhm.
definitely catch me eating a bag of salt and vinegar chips. Oh heck yeah.
Yes.
Annihilate one of those.
I'm the same. I'm
Oh,
the
I love them.
same. I won't now, but plus carbs turn into sugars, so we have
Yeah.
that going on.
Everything's a carbohydrate. Everything's a carbohydrate. Everything turns into sugar. So yeah, exactly. That's another thing I learned. Like mid-season of my, midway of my journey of coming off of sugar, I was like, oh my gosh, everything turns to sugar.
I
But
know.
it's
Crazy, crazy.
okay as long as it's a natural sugar. That's what I've learned. I'm okay with anything that is natural sugar. I'm okay. I can do it. So that's why with my mushroom coffee, well, it's mushroom tea. There's really no coffee in here. I have cacao. I have natural cacao in there to give me that chocolate taste that I'm looking for. I do
So,
like chocolate. I do, but I don't eat it. Um, and natural sugars are fine, you guys. Natural sugars are absolutely great. If I wanted to put a sprinkle of, or a little bit of honey in there, it's fine. My body
mhm.
recognizes, and your body recognizes natural sugars, and they know what to do with it. And if you eat too much natural sugar, your body knows what to do with that.
Mhm.
So, yeah, it's much safer just to stick with the natural sugars. Um,
Mhm.
so yeah, so those are the tapeworms. Yeah, they're very common parasites. I believe that almost every human has probably dealt with sometime in their life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Um,
kids will have that. That's why kids get that little sugar, crave that sugar, and become like little demons when they want it. And
or
they're all their
yeah.
tapeworms are going, give me my sugar. And the kid's the little host.
Boy, in America, the breakfast is based on sugar. Everything is sugar in the morning.
Oh yeah, same as here. All the cereals are just like, oh my god, they should be illegal what they tell you to feed your children for breakfast. Like it's horrible.
Oh yeah, have you ever seen the sugar
Sugar.
in? What about your guys' oatmeals?
The what?
The oatmeal.
All of it. We have like Cocoa Puffs and Fruit Loops and what else have we got? Even like Nutrigrain, which is a really popular one, which is supposed to be healthy and it's all about protein. You look at the labels and it's just like full of sugars, and this isn't good sugars. These are like this is processed, proper,
Fructose corn syrup,
hardcore,
huh?
and it's just full of sugars. Like unless you eat, we have one called Wheat Bix, and it's just nothing. It's just plain like wheat type stuff. Unless you add sugar, That's about it. But everything else on the shelf is just full of sugars. Like I wouldn't dream of eating it for breakfast.
I
Never.
know. The
Oh,
oatmeal's here. Yeah, the oatmeal and our yogurts are just full of sugars. And I
oh
wish
yeah.
you know what I should have done tonight? I should have measured out 10, 20, and 30 grams of sugar, what it literally looks like, so people could have a visual.
You should. You should show people what they're eating in sugar in a bowl of breakfast.
Yeah, in a bowl. I
You
know.
should
Maybe I might do
make
that
it
next
visual
week.
so they can see it. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
good one. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll do that tomorrow morning because I do come live again tomorrow morning and we'll talk about that in just a minute. We have about 10 minutes left here. And well, I guess we could stop right there because if we keep going, we still got one, two, three, four parasites I wanted to go over, but we're running out of time. So we can finish this topic for next Monday. So that's good. I hope you guys are interested and like to hear about what we have to say about what lowers your vibration. And we're going straight to the parasites. I'm going to teach you guys about parasites. And then, you know, what we'll do next week. How about if we get into parasite cleanses and how we get
Hmm.
what those look like and how you can get those started and how to change the diet. And then I'll talk about a few of my products, parasite detoxes that I have and that I've created for you guys. I've got a liver one. I have a lymphatic one. I have a candida one. So I'll go ahead and bring my teas on and we'll discuss those, and then we'll cover the rest of the parasites that I didn't get to cover. And they're really interesting too, to hear
Hmm.
about what they feed off and what their cravings are, you know.
Hmm.
This is just very important information to get to people, I feel.
I think so. For sure, I think so. If
Uh-huh.
you can clean out parasites in your body spiritually, if you want to connect spiritually, try and eliminate as many parasites as you can, because you'll find that your channels will just naturally, like all that sitting in meditation and crystals, it's great and all, but it can put you down roads of delusion because, you know, who's to tell you what's real? Like so much can come in. So like that, I think when you get into the spiritual realm in that way, I think I found it quite a little bit too overwhelming and too much to go through by yourself. Like even when you're going through Kundalini, they say you're best to do it under supervision of a true guru, because Kundalini can cause death or psychosis. Because it's the spiritual realm is like, whoo, it's big, and there's a lot that will come at you, and you want to have that guidance in someone that knows what they're doing. But when you do it in a physical way, detoxing, um, pathways, bile ducts, your liver, your lymphatic system, parasites, toxins, I find it's a very um, safe and effective way to connect spiritually, because you're just cleansing your body. So all those important channels just they're so much clearer, and you get the messages much clearer, much safer, much more real for what we have to do in this human life, like much more attainable. That's how I, like, from experience, that's how I choose to pick my spiritual path, is by cleansing the physical body and having that connection through just being healthy, and you know having my body in a good healthy state deep inside. And so yeah. I.
Exactly. Yeah. Parasites are inescapable. They're
Mhm.
virtually everywhere, everyone, okay?
Mhm.
You can get them through pets, saliva, sex,
Mhm.
unsanitary surfaces, doorknobs, gas pumps,
Mhm.
handshakes. We can
Mhm.
even inhale dried parasites in the dust or the air. This isn't something to fear. We're not trying to fear you guys. I said this from the beginning. This is not something to fear you, but to make you understand that parasites can only thrive in filthy, unhealthy guts
Mhm.
and colons.
Mhm.
This is why learning to clean your house, your vessel, is key. And that
Yeah.
is what we're here, and that is what we're trying to bring to you guys, all right? And like again, I just really want to emphasize on that we're not trying to put you guys in fear. Please, we're not. We're just trying to bring awareness to you, and so that
Mhm.
you guys can do better and be a healthier human while you are navigating all of this crazy stuff that's going on around you right now on this planet.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I maybe tomorrow we can get more deeper into this. I do have another live. I'll be returning back again tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock with the spiritual show that flows with Julie, Love Riot Warriors. And Ann and I will be back here again next Monday at 5:22 on Facebook and YouTube. And I just want to thank you guys all for joining and for watching this. And please like, share, love, whatever this show, comment so we know you're there. And let's just get the word out. For those of you who feel or know someone who can use this kind of spiritual talk, it's just two
Mhm.
plain old simple females, and we're both of different ages and different walks of life, trying to bring you guys hard truths. And again, I just want to remind you guys that you can find us at elevatedbyclaudine.com, and that I do have products. And we greatly appreciate it if you can support us by buying our products. And I just want to wish everyone a merry everything and thank you for watching. And I'll go ahead and let Ann say goodbye to you guys.
Goodbye. I don't have a lot to talk about when
You
it
had
comes
so
to my
much to
health.
say all night.
I know. When it's like a topic, I don't have a problem talking, but when it's like personal, I go, but no, I hope, yeah, I hope people watch. But definitely like, yeah, clean out the body. I think it's so important to keep your vessel. We are the host. Like we host all of it. We host the parasites, we host the demons, we host the angels, we host the energies, we host the different spirits. So when we can know who we are and we can be clear of thought, have good health, channels are nice and clear, we know what we're using, we know what we're, taking on, and we can be so much more aware of the forces because they are aware and they source what we do, like from our sex energy to our family energy to our working, like we are just being sourced all the time for our energy. And the powers that be understand and know this on such a deep level. So the way they can attack the human straight off the bat is the body, the physical body, and the food that you eat and the chemicals you take on. And then once you have all that in your body, then the spirits can come and affect us, and the energies, and then it's just a great big source of energy that's going on, and energy stealers. So yeah, keep that body clean. Listen to Claudine because she knows
Yeah.
a lot.
Uh, we'll get more into that next Monday, you guys. And okay, Nova, thank you for watching and for interacting with us. We love you, and we are just wishing you the best. We really appreciate you doing that. You make it so much more fun for us to come on live when you're
Yes,
interacting with us. And
I love
hopefully,
it.
I'll see you tomorrow morning, Nova. And we will just continue this tomorrow then, you guys. And everyone have a beautiful evening, and we will see you again next Monday. Bye bye.
See ya. Bye.